What up, YouTubers? It's Kevin over at Keen Auto, aka Mr. 500, aka owner of the home of the 500 down buy here, pay clean title cars, Pompano Beach. Call me if you need a car today, 954-532-9699. I'm cruising, driving my 2014 Jeep Cherokee. We just did a 3-hour tour up to go pick up some parts, and I'm driving 3 hours back. Just want to show anyone that's looking to become a dealership owner the type of stuff that you got to do to become a car gladiator like myself. Waking up early, energized, being the influencer, doing the sales pitching all day, talking to the audience, talking to customers, the whole thing, all the input. Maybe one day we'll be a YouTuber, maybe one day we'll be this and that. When you got the Pauls doing their crazy thing, one's boxing, one's wrestling. I mean, anything's possible basically if you look at what's going on YouTube. You got the Saratoga water guy, got famous off of water. I forget what that guy's name was, but all these guys making millions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. So we do it here at Keen Auto the hard way. You know, we started up a dealership from scratch. We started off with a couple cars, and then went from a couple cars to 10 cars to 20 cars. Now we got about 70 cars, and we do in-house finance lending where if you want to buy a car, we beat the bank. We're actually conquering Wall Street right now. We're going to bat with Wall Street money. When Capital One says no, Santander says no, Exeter says you just had a repossession, this, that, and the other, Keen Auto says yes. If you got proof of income, check stubs, driver's license, insurance, you get approved with as low as $500 down. So that's our intro to the Keen Auto business. And we're today I'm driving. So usually when I'm driving, I try to do my little podcast, my little, just to see who's following the page. Hey, if you want to start a dealership today, you should be following this page, subscribing to this page, and liking every single video, because this is Keen Talk Real Talk. I don't bullshit. I tell you straight up how it is and how it should be if you want to start up a car lot today. So if you got questions, put them in the comments. If you want to shoot me a text message with questions, hey, 954-532-9699. We're located in Pompano Beach, which is basically the most competitive environment to be a car dealership owner right now. We're first generation, no silver spoon. Got no parent that gave me the car lot, said, here you go, Johnny. The car lot's all yours. We're going to go retire now. We'll be in the Bahamas for a month. Let us know how the sales were. We don't got none of that here. It's all started from scratch. Ground zero, the full build up. This is it. Stay tuned. Watch the videos. I post all my testimonials on YouTube. See how we're doing the presentation. Our Instagram's about to hit 20,000 followers. That thing's blowing up. In Instagram, we are picking up about 3,000 to 4,000 organic followers a month. Now, we do paid advertising too, but that doesn't matter because you could be spending money to advertise, and if no one's following your page because they're getting bored of your stuff, doesn't matter. So follow the page, get all the ideas you want. We need more dealerships right now that can do this type of lending. I mean, right now, the small business community is struggling. This is probably the most difficult economy that I have seen being in the retail industry since 2008, since the housing crisis. I used to work at City Furniture selling mattresses and couches and everything. That was in South Florida. So I'm 38 years old, and I've grown up working at a very young age. I worked at McDonald's 15 till 18, 19. Then I went into the Marine Corps for a couple of years, got an honorable discharge out. Then I started working I worked at Washington Mutual at a bank. I worked at Washington Mutual at a bank for about a year. And then I always had that hunger to sell and make money. So I was like, all right, Walmart's cool, but the market was crashing. It was about to crash anyway. So Washington Mutual was drying up. I got my real estate license at the same time the market was gonna crash, all right? So I got my real estate license. I was all excited. I was all pumped up. And then boom, the market takes a dump and a dive in 2008. The housing bubble is bursting around that time. So I got my real estate license. All my stuff listed is going in the short sale. None of my stuff is closing. I'm a young kid. If I had done real estate with the mindset I had today, I would probably be equivalent to where I'm at as far as a self-made millionaire at this point in my life. And at that point, I'd be in the same type of status, being self-made. But I didn't have the mindset to be like, oh, well, I'm in a bad time in the market, Maybe if I had started selling cars and no one was buying cars for a year straight, maybe I would have lost patience, in that game too. But when I joined the car market, So let's go down memory lane. So I'm in real estate. Boom, market pops. No one's buying nothing. I go to City Furniture. I'm like, all right, I gotta get a job. I gotta pay for something. You know, I'm like 21 or 22 at the time. So go into City Furniture, start cranking it. This is as the market's starting to rebound. Now the short sales and foreclosures are starting to get bought up by the market or whatever. You know, the market's finally starting to recover from the depression of 2008 housing market. Boom. I'm selling furniture. I'm hitting, you know, top 3 sales associates. I don't remember my records back then, but I've always had that hunger to try to be number one no matter what type of sales environment. I was killing it. Probably 1 month number one in one store, then maybe another month number 2, 3. I always try to be at the top all the time. So I did City Furniture, then I jumped ship. Rooms to Go offered a better compensation plan. I was like, oh, let me go to Rooms to Go. I'm gonna sell some couches and furniture there. I know what mattresses are. I know what a Tempur-Pedic is. I know what a Sealy mattress is. I know what I know all the brands. You know, it's the same brand, just a different shell, different house to sell under. So I'm in there selling furniture. Amazing compensation plan. I don't know what it's like today, but you could definitely, even back then, you could do 6 figures in 2011 selling furniture, and it was easier with the compensation plan at Rooms to Go compared to City Furniture. So I hopped out. I was a young buck, and I was making good money. I was making $6,000 a month at City Furniture. I go to Rooms to Go, and I'm like, holy crap! Now I'm making $7,000, $8,000. This is like crazy, you know. Like I'm a young kid making good money, all regular income, selling, all commission based. My last job that ever paid hourly was Washington Mutual and McDonald's. Those 2 jobs are my hourly jobs, plus the military was like a different world, of course. So anyway, I take a 2-year, I don't know, what do you call that, sabbatical? So, you know, I take a 2-year break from City Furniture Rooms to Go. Go to college. I'm like, yeah, let me try the college thing. You know, all my friends are about to graduate college from high school. I did the sales at Rooms to Go City Furniture. Went through some personal, you know, life changes out of the blue, you know. Plus in '08 was a catastrophe. So between, I bought a house when I was like 18, and then the house is of course upside down. So just like everybody else, we gave it back. And I was like, let me go to college and just reset everything, build my credit. I have all the sales experience. I'm in college. It's cool. I'm doing IT and programming classes. Pretty decent programmer once I was getting the hang of it. Remember the professor there always said the same things like, Keen, I don't know how the hell did you learn? How did you figure out this the way you figured out this equation? I've never seen anybody figure it out that way. Now it works, but I don't know. There's something up there in that head of yours. And this is my professor up in Valencia College, Orlando. So we're in Valencia College, Orlando. You know, my father worked at IBM. I had this aspiration. I was like, all right, you know, maybe I'm built to be in the computer all day. I was a PC gamer growing up. Never pro status, but, you know, I was been gaming my whole life. Good at these strategy games, blah, 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 blah. So in college, I was like, I still need some money, though. You know, I don't want to just sit here off the grants and this and that. All right, I get a job at Lazy Boy. So I get a job at Lazy Boy. I'm selling my furniture again. I'm in my furniture game. We're doing more of the luxury sales. You know, it's more luxury furniture there. It's a little bit more expensive price point than the other ones. It's like, this is cool, you know. Slow pace, you know, not everyone wants to build a $10,000 sectional all the time. So it's a different type of clientele. I did the luxury game for a little bit. Same thing happens. I'm about to go to UCF. All right. I got like, you know, 4.0 GPA, whatever, 3.8, 3.7. I killed it in college. In high school, didn't care nothing. Barely had a 2.0. I could barely get out of high school. They had to kick me out because I said I was going to go into the military. So they kicked me out of there, rounded up from 1.9 to 2.0 to get me the hell out of high school. I'm in college, you know, I'm more mature. I'm an older cat. I'm like, all right, let's just do it. Yeah, I'll study. I'll pass the classes, you know. And I'm not a good student when it comes to that. I get bored in class. I fall asleep. It's not that entertaining for me. I'm not good like that. Anyway, I did it. I put up with it. And then I get to UCF, and then boom. I'm like, what? My classes aren't available to finish up my degree. So then they're like, at the pace you're at, it may take you another 4 years at UCF because there's a wait list for your computer engineering classes at the time. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I am not going to do this another 4 years. So I put the brakes on, and I was like, all right. I got out of there. I was done with college. I was bored. went back down to South Florida. Went back from Orlando, back down to Pompano Beach area in Broward. So I'm back in Broward, Pompano Beach, and I get hired at, well, I started applying for jobs again, you know. I'm just sitting there like, what do I do? What do I do? So I was like, you know what? I've always thought about selling cars. So I walk into Coconut Creek Auto Mall, and the GSM there, his name, the general sales manager, is Ron Shy. So Ron Shy interviews me. I'm like, yeah, I can sell anything. You know, I'm a young kid. I'm 22, 23, whatever. I'll sell anything you want. You got a couch, I'll sell it. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Don't worry about it. So I know his number one question I remember in the interview, which is a crazy question, but he's like, you know, are you going to be able to close somebody if they got money or they don't got money? Are you going to be able to close that person making profit regardless of emotion? I was like, absolutely. Send me any customer my way. I'm going to wrap them up. I'm going to close them up. I don't care what I got to do to make it happen. I'll do 100% pure effort. All right. So he says you're hired. So you get hired in November, December, and whatever year that was. And I'm doing the Hyundai training, and I'm still in that college phase. So I'm like, I want to be done with all like the product knowledge before I actually start selling cars. So I do all the product training, and I think I really started doing it in like January. I didn't know like December were the big months, November were the big months. So I skip out on the big months because I'm not confident enough to do it, because I'm like, yeah, I need the product knowledge. Little did I know in sales, I mean, I already knew, like, you don't need product knowledge. You got to just you sell yourself before you sell anything else. You sell yourself, and then you go on from there. So I do sales for about a year and a couple months. So this is more car talk. After sales, I go fast past into finance, into the box. So now I'm a finance manager at like 24, 25 years old. Just blowing through records, you know, like, oh, wow, this guy sold cars for 12 to 15 months. Boom, now he's a finance manager. Now, while I'm selling cars and doing finance, believe it or not, the psycho in myself, the hidden demon, the beast, I'm delivering pizzas. I'm doing Uber on top of making a bunch of money in the finance world. So I'm just building up the resume on the YouTube, so you could just start following to see what type of animal it takes to start from scratch in this world, and to be able to compete with third generational income. How much energy and power and dominance to start fighting in the NBA when you're used to playing in, you know, the high school team. So now I'm in finance, we're cranking it. You know, I'm able to transact 140 cars a month. You know, we're doing so many deals, transaction after transaction, closing customers all day, closing them, putting them together, making them buy the product, selling all the air in the bag, selling the warranty, selling everything that we can, everything under the sun we're trying to sell to everybody. Off lease only is in the heyday at the time. So I take an Uber one day. You know, I'm always partying, Blue Martini, Boca Raton, parties all day, at the VIP tables, making good money, this and that, everything's good. Off lease only, I take an Uber one night. Actually, no, I was the Uber driver. I'm the Uber driver, and I pick up two finance managers from off lease only. And my buddy Sean DeVito will quote, I remember, and he's with his good friend, I forget his name, I'll know Bradley or something. So him and Sean, they're like, dude, you're in the car business? I'm, yeah, man, I'm a finance manager at Coconut Creek Auto Mall. I'm like, you know, got my chest up, man, I'm making great money, dude. I'm making six figures, easy breezy. And then, just like a Wolf of Wall Street, he starts talking about, man, you know how much these guys make at off lease only? I was like, no. Triple what you make, or double what you make. I was like, nah, it's impossible. Don't believe it. You know, grass ain't always greener. It ain't always greener on the other side. I'm not leaving my spot. This is where I'm going to be for life. Blah, blah, blah. But, knowing the Keen, I left City Furniture. I went to Rooms to Go. I doubled my pay. You know, I was like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I left a really good profession, a good job, went to off lease only. Didn't quite double my pay, but I took enough increase to make it justified. Probably took a 60 to 70% increase in pay. And that just started the saving cycle. So now here I am, saving, buying stocks, investing, saving over these years. Buying all these companies. The stock market's doing great. And then I decided I want to get out of intangibles in the stock market, and I just want to take a shot at small business tangibles. Start the car lot. Buy a couple cars. I'm still working in finance at off lease only while I'm trying to do my game, my new game here, my small business, trying to find people to buy the cars, this and that. So start off super small, 2,500 square foot warehouse, just enough to fit maybe 10 to 12 cars, a few parking spots, very minimal. My rent was like $2,500 a month. My rent today is $15,000 a month, with the expectation to possibly go to $20,000 a month because the landlord is trying to kill me. Or $22,000 a month. I think $25,000. This guy's crazy. So we'll see how long we're in this spot before I gotta find a less expensive location. But on a side note, try to buy the property before you move in with the dealership if you have the ability to do it. That's just one of those annoyances that's in the dealership right now, is that you don't know how much the rent's going to be as you keep renewing. Anyway, so we start the car lot, got me a couple cars, and my mechanical abilities came back into play. I was a mechanic fixing cars at 14, 15. I'm fixing cars, right? Working on my first car, helping out my father, watching him do his stuff in his car. It always intrigued me. I liked the mechanical aspect of things. So I'm doing the mechanical work. I'm fixing cars. It's awesome. Having a good time, fixing whips, I had a Geo Prism as my first car in '96, and then I went to a 2002 Nissan Sentra. As I grew up, I started working on Nissan Sentra, and if you look way back in the YouTube, I was like, racing the Sentra and all that. So now put everything together. So fast forward back to 2017, I guess, when I started the car lot about 8 years ago. All of a sudden, you need all these mechanical skills all of a sudden. It's like, damn, I just bought this car at the auction. Fuck, I gotta fix something. All right, man, I haven't done this in a minute. I'll do it. So I started buying my tools, and I buy a couple lifts. Like, man, I need a lift. I'm not doing this on my back all day. Let's make a lift. I got space. So I bought one lift. Yeah, do one lift. And I was like, this is going a lot quicker if I could get 2 more lifts. So I bought one lift, then I got 3 lifts. And then I hired a mechanic, and then we went to only service for a while. We actually only had a service repair facility for a good year and a half. I was like, why would I buy and sell these cars? People aren't offering me shit for these cars. I'm gonna just start fixing them and taking that money that way. So we're doing the maintenance, the suspension, motor jobs, transmission jobs, all this and that. And we just went to full service repairs for a while. And then you go through the cyclical thing of like, all right, well, service kind of got slow for a little bit. So I went back into, what I had been doing for a while, which was selling cars. But into that brain, all of a sudden I got a big crash course back into service and repairs, a big one. I was fixing cars myself. I had that car gladiator just starting to come out. I just felt the Hulk, just something's coming. I haven't used these skills in a while, but I make a lot of money when I dip into that blue collar side of that brain. So let's keep going with the pace of things. All right, COVID hits. Another grenade, nuclear bomb just goes off, right? Goes off for every industry in the world. I go back and I'm like, I gotta get a job. Man, I gotta get a job. Like, no one's buying anything. Like, this is crazy. The whole world's coming to an end. So I go to Fort Myers, right? I go to Fort Myers, and I go to a Honda dealership to do finance with the general manager there, Ernie Sims. So he hires me over there. And COVID has this explosive car world that just goes crazy. I don't know, people were just bored spending or what. People start spending $10,000 over the selling price of the cars. We're selling a Honda Odyssey van for like 60 bands. Unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense. The banks are just loving it. The banks are just killing it. It's crazy. This crazy thing explodes in COVID. Where all of a sudden, at first it's bad, right? First it's bad, and then it's just a big ramp up. It just goes like crazy as the enterprise companies and the rental car companies are like starting to hurt real bad. They're not renting cars because no one's traveling. So they take all the cars from Hertz enterprise budget, and and they unload all their cars into the wholesale market. And I don't know, just people just bored spending, you know? Like right now people are bored traveling. They don't know what to do with themselves but to travel, and they're not really buying cars. But back then it was the opposite. No one could travel. So what are you going to do to entertain yourself? Oh, let's just go car shopping. It's the only thing that's open that we can do. We can't really go to restaurants. They're all closed. Maybe we should freshen up that beater in the garage we've owned. So we got all these like 2005s coming in, getting traded in. And all these people that sat on their cars for 20 years are like, time to freshen it up. The deals are there. The sales are there. And then it created this like inflation bubble that happened. So the inflation bubble happens, right? The market starts to skyrocket with the selling price of cars. So now there's a squeeze. The chip shortage happens. Another saga in the car world. The chip shortage. What the hell's the chip shortage? Yeah. So they couldn't make the cars anymore because there were no chips. So I don't know where Nvidia and all these AI companies were at the time, but they were using all those chips to pump up their AI or something. So now there's a chip shortage. Cars aren't being made. Used car prices are skyrocketing. Oh, look at the itch, man. Ugh. I'm in the middle of like my seminar. Used car prices are skyrocketing because there's no cars. So the chip shortage happens and the market just like explodes. It's like crazy. So long story short, fast forward to today, I made a bunch of money in COVID. I reinvested it back into Keen Automall, and the rest is history. So here we are doing a full revamp on the company, going viral in social media. Subscribe and stay tuned to the page because it only gets better from here. If you want to start a dealership, follow the content. I have like an allergy thing happening right now, so I'm gonna do a pause on the pitching here. But subscribe to the page, follow the content. You'll see me picking up engines and transmissions to build and flip these cars. I got a bumper right here. I got a door underneath it. And on top of that, I'm road testing a Jeep Cherokee to make sure it's good to go after we just did suspension, motor work, engine mounts. The list goes on and on and on and on. There's so much work we've done to this car just to make it right. Because you could buy a car for $300, and this goes for all those mechanics out there. And I know a lot of mechanics are kind of like a different type of brain. I have this hybrid. It's like half like mechanical, I can understand all that, and then the other half is like sell. You know, you usually don't see that in a person where you're able to sell ice to an Eskimo, but then able to tear apart that Audi engine and be like able to rebuild it. You know, I never seen it. Now, all my finance friends, man, they can't fix a shit. They can't change their fucking oil. And then all the mechanics I know, don't put them in front of a customer. They'll scare the person. That person's never gonna buy anything if you put your mechanic in front of the customer. Good luck. You'll never get a sale. And then you got the Keen. This is where you gotta stay subscribed to the Keen, because as the evolution happens, we're building the fucking car Gladiator. It's like car Gundam. We're building car Gundams right now for you anime fans. I love animes. The Keen Gundam. Gundam Keen. There you go. Gundam Keen's here. You're gonna see someone that can build a car, fix a car, market a car, be an influencer, be in marketing, sell a car, sales, marketing, title, paperwork, analytics, blue collar, white collar, hybrid, all in one. And now we're pushing it to the limit on challenges. We're gonna sell 40 cars this month. That's the goal. Whether we hit it or not, that is the target. If I gotta buy 20 cars at the auction on the last week of the month to hit the goal, I'm gonna buy the 20 cars if we run out of cars. I am determined to do the first 40 car sale month. I want to sell 40 cars this month. And if you follow the whole page of what led to this point in time, you better subscribe and follow that page. This is all POV. This is just selfie recording. This is just me pitching. This would be just like if you were live on a talk show host, on a radio talk show. That's it. Oh, we got line 5 calling in. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, this is Mr. 500. This is Keen. How can I help you? This is just live. I'm not gonna cut this film. I ain't gonna trim it up. I ain't gonna take out me scratching my nose and do all that shit that all these other media guys do. This is just gonna be raw footage. Take it or leave it. Put the comments in. Give me ideas on the next thing to pitch. You got ideas? You got questions about how we do it? Put it in there. We need help. Our communities need help more now than ever with small dealerships doing the right thing for the customer. People are really tight on cash. Inflation's super high. especially if you're in the South Florida area, we need more dealerships. We need more dealerships that can provide for our local communities. We don't need more big franchises and Mercedes and Honda dealerships selling like new cars. Every car is like $50,000. I target around a $10,000 car. I got cars starting at around $89.95, and then we go up to around 19 to 20 grand as a max. And that's the bread and butter of the whole business for me. That's our bread and butter for small businesses working with local community. That's where someone that works at, I always reference McDonald's because I worked at McDonald's, and I think the biggest thing is right now the banks try to follow the whole program. I'm going to reflect back on that COVID time. The banks overextended themselves and they lent out too much money. So now what's happening? They're taking down repossessions, and now we're entering the hardest economy to lend in since 2008. So if you follow this whole broadcast, if you can try to put it all together, we're going into the worst economy since 2008 for the car sector. Most repossessions on record. Why? Because the banks got greedy to make a bunch of money, and they overextend themselves on the amount of money they can lend on the car, and now they're taking a beating. What does that do for the small business world and for the local communities? Now the person that works at McDonald's, just like I did, works 40 hours a week at Mickey D, just like I did when I was 16, if you wanted to go get approved for a car, the banks won't give you the loan anymore. I was like, what? How can our working class not have access to wheels? It doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me if I work at McDonald's and I'm on the fryer that day, doing the French fryer, or I'm on the food line, I can't get a car? Why? Because my income doesn't qualify and I got mid-range credit? We're having trouble with even like 600 FICOs right now. Even the mid-range credit, the big banks like, nah, we're not going to help them out. So the banks are saying no to a lot of these applications, which means there's a big window for us being able to provide in-house finance, no credit check finance. We have common sense approvals. If I know you're good for it, you got a good job, you show me that check stub, you bring $500 down, boom, Mr. 500 gives you a job. If you're working, boom, I want to make sure you get to work. I want to make sure that we support the working class. So that's a good summary of what's happening in Keene Automall right now. I haven't really decided the full name, but I think Car Gladiator, because I'm doing this challenge of waking up at like 5 a.m., full-blown commitment to the business, full-blown commitment to not partying. I'm a party animal. No partying, no cigarettes, no alcohol. I'm doing a full Herbalife extreme extravaganza purge, which means full vitamins, full nutrition. I'm trying to be at the shop with full energy levels all day, which means I got to maximum input to be able to try to sell 40 cars. That's a big challenge for all of you car salespeople out there. I want to you let me know the last time you sold 40 cars. And wait, you might be able to sell 40 cars at a dealership with all the support staff, accountant, title clerk, the guy that's gonna wash and clean the car, your detail squad, the finance manager that's gonna spin the deal once you're done, the sales manager that's gonna help you with the numbers to close the deal, it's gonna come out and do the TO, close that deal. How about 40 cars by yourself, where I keep 100% of all the profit, and I do have a support team, but not a support team of 40 people. I do the sales, marketing, some of the reconditioning. We have a master technician who does the reconditioning. Some of the after-sale follow-up. We have our support team that does accounting and our title clerk and some of that, but I do most of the title paperwork myself. The closing. There's no sales manager, there's no finance manager, there's no salespeople. I do the whole thing, A to Z, soup to nuts. And if I sell 40 cars this month, if that's not a Guinness Book of World Records, I want to know what that number is for someone to do it all themselves, because I want to apply. Let's get Guinness out here. Anyway, thanks for following and subscribing to the page. I hope it was informational. I try not to go off topic with what's happening, but I want to keep everybody updated. So, to summarize, month of July 2025, we got 3 goals. Mental, discipline, physical. Discipline, to try to be on time at 5 a.m., starting the day almost every day. Discipline. cut out drinking, cut out cigs, cut out everything. It's a complete 100% detox. And then that was mental, physical, and financial. The financial goal is a 40 car a month target. And to get to 40 cars, cost savings here and there. I'm picking up a bumper up in Orlando. I'm using 5 or 6 hours of my day to iron out this car to make sure we're good to go, that it's good for that next family. It's going to need this Jeep. So I can have full confidence that we have a whole video of me driving the Jeep, man. I just drove it. I just drove this car 6 or 7 hours. I think you'll be okay, especially for all those Karens out there that want a brand new car for a used car price. This is the Karen special that has me fully, full head first into this thing, making sure this car is good to go. Because for some reason, we had all these people coming in saying, is that car perfect? No, man. It's a used car. There is no perfect used car. You want a brand new car? Go buy this thing for 50 bands. Don't waste those time with those comments here. This shit drives me crazy. 954-532-9699. We're home of 500 down. Buy here, pay your cars, Pompano Beach. Give me a ring. 954-532-9699. If you need a car today, this is Kevin over at Keen Auto, aka Mr. 500, aka Get You Done, aka No Credit Check Approvals. Follow, subscribe, and stay tuned as we keep broadcasting the success. And if you're a car gladiator out there as well, hey man, subscribe and follow. Let's exchange ideas. We got a Herbalife Shake Club opening up, and we got a lot of stuff and content coming, so stay tuned. Holla.